as everyone of you is aware, there's been a lot of issues that has raised a lot of public interest. And one of them is the issue of Kenya Airways taking over the running of Kenya Airports Authority. With this in mind, what Public Investment Committee has done is we've taken the liberty and we have now made arrangements, and we've written to the Investment Secretary to be able to get a list of every single state investment. By definition, Public Investment Committee is actually meant to just go through the audit reports of state corporations, which means an entity that can be able to sue or be sued, and where the government has an interest holdings of 50% plus one. So what we have opted to do as a committee is to get this, and we're going to use this first of all as a basis to be able to find out why an entity that is making losses should be able to take over something like the airport. There's so many factors at stake. There's the issue of jobs. This is an institution that currently caters for 20,000 plus people. Should we be a nation that is going to put that at risk? Then we want to find out who are the actual owners of Kenya Airways. As far as the date of Investment Secretary bringing us this report, we want to find out who the true owners of Kenya Airways are. What is the percentages of KLM? What is KLM putting on the table? Are we going to continuously as a nation say that we are bringing in, putting up money, and we're using that because this is seen as the face of Kenya? What happens where we don't have any controlling interests? What is there to stop one fine day being told that Kenya Airways is no longer operating from Kenya but has to operate from another country because operating costs in Kenya are too high? That is a possibility. We've had the Kenya National Shipping Line already, and that is another audit query that will be coming in. The Kenya National Shipping Line is already being taken over by Maersk. What is there to stop Kenya Airways being taken over by another entity? And then here we are, we're giving a whole airport to run. The airport is currently earning Kenya Airports Authority 13 billion plus in income. Why should we be the ones to lose out on this? So regarding the issue of the jobs and everything else that are there. Secondly, there was the part of Kenya Ports Authority. Now, you will, and I want to thank the media on this. The media came out openly and actually reported something that had been flagged out before it even reached on final levels of audit. The media was able to flag out the issue of KPA being standing at a threat of going. Now, by the way, these are threats that are there. It does not mean that KPA is already gone. It is our job now to try and find out, one, what exactly transpired until KPA ended up being a guarantor. What we have noticed in other parts of the world where sovereign guarantees to Chinese loans are no longer just enough. They prefer asset guarantees. A country like Zambia, Zambia Broadcasting Corporation is already being operated by the Chinese. That is equal to saying something like KBC being operated by the Chinese. These are facts that are ongoing in countries very, very near to us. Other institutions in Zambia that are at risk currently is the National Electricity Company of Zambia. Lusaka Airport, which is not at complete, is also at risk. And we want to go through a model, something similar to what Ethiopia has done, where even if it means slowing down, taking a slow pace, but we are better off. Ethiopia had a bigger loan with the Chinese, and when they saw that things are getting a bit dangerous, they put their house in order. They were at between 13 to $13.5 billion, whereas Kenya, we are still in the region of $8 to $9 billion, bearing in mind the issue the factors of interest and delays in payments and everything else. So these are the two issues that we're expecting. On face value, when you look at things on face value, we are a bit concerned about the issue of Kenya Airways taking over the management, because we know what the government has been giving to an institute every single year like Kenya Airways, just to be able to make it sustainable on the auspices that it is the face of Kenya. Equally, we know what it is that the Kenya Airports Authority is making based on their audit reports. We know that the government is the one that owns the Kenya Airports Authority. So on the face value, it is a decision. Of course, they have to bring the regulations. As Public Investment Committee, we are preempting that even before they bring in these regulations, we want to inform the House in general that according to us, in terms of financials, this is what the country is going to get itself into if we do get into this position. And thereafter, we see what executive will be able to bring regarding that particular deal. Of course, it is a cabinet resolution that was done. We are yet to get any further details. Regarding the Kenya Ports Authority, we will want to get an in-depth as to how that guarantee was signed, on what basis was it given that Kenya Ports Authority becomes a guarantor. We are going to equally be requesting to find out, KPA has to keep a log as to how much of that debt has already been paid. If they're guarantors, they need to know how much of that debt has already been paid. Also, of course, there's special levies that are being remitted. The railway levy fund. I'm sure everyone is aware that every single item that we purchase, everything that we do has an element of a railway levy fund that should have gone to pay off this particular debt. So we need to get the nitty-gritties on the same. And we thought it was important just to brief you and let Kenyans know that the National Assembly is actually on top of things on these particular matters.
Owino, MP Embakasi East constituency, and Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. My chairman, JKIA is in Embakasi East constituency. So it's a weighty matter, that's why I'm mentioning JKIA separately. And as a member of parliament for JKIA, I would like to state that members of Embakasi's constituency are really going to lose employment opportunities should Kenya Airways opt to take over Jomo Kenyatta International Airport from Kenya Airports Authority. We know well that KLM has to clear. Actually, they have the voice. They are the people indirectly taking JKIA over from KAA. And this is a foreign company. So as a member of parliament, I would urge my constituents to be calm, and they should have more trust in me that this is not going to happen. If it is a matter of closing the airport, then we will close it for the best interest of the members of Embakasi's constituency. May God bless JKIA and its members.
And
Thank
me.
you. And our chairman, PIC.